Hello, and welcome to what I would now call the masked edition of Diaspora Weekly. You've never seen me and my guests in a mask before. This is the first, and you will see the reason why in a minute. My guest and I are going to discuss COVID-19 and its treatment here in Ghana. But before you get to meet my guest, remember, there's always the jangle. So I'm going to give you a brief jangle. So stay tuned. Be right back. Hello and welcome back. In today's jangle, I'm going to go to a place that I've been to before. The head-to-head matchup between the people of Ghana and the politicians. Many times when things are not going well, we point to politicians. They're doing this, they're doing this. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that politicians have a role and many times they fall short. But in the fight against, look at yourself and look around you and answer the following question. Who is to blame for the spread of COVID-19? Is it the government's handling or is it the people and our behavior? Wear mask. You say, nope, I won't wear mask. You see people in Trotro where people are sitting in close contact with each other, not wearing mask. Okay? And if the government wants to lock you down, oh, we're hungry, we want to go out and do things. Okay, fine. Go out and do the things that bring you money. We only ask that you wear a mask. That one too you don't want to do. And then when the numbers are spreading, it's the government's fault. If people start dying right now, it's the government's fault. We as a people, at what point do we start to look in the mirror and say, look, the government has its role. Yes, the government may be, in terms of their performance, there are some question marks. But what about us? You point a finger at something or somebody, 3 of your fingers are pointing right back at you. So Ghanaians, look in the mirror, ask yourself, are you doing the right thing? Are you obeying the protocols? If you're not, then do what you need to do before you point the finger at somebody else. So for today's jangle, it's simple. Look at yourself. Are you doing what you need to do to help the spread of COVID? That's your response. And that's the jangle today. We'll be right back and you will meet my guest. Stay tuned.
It's a new season. 3 latest intriguing conversations from 3 different perspectives.
How many months does it take to pass even a bill? And everybody keeps saying, we'll get back to you.
Traffic everywhere, wasting people's time.
When are you getting back to us?
Time is money.
Energy.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Only on DNT.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized, feel different. Always think specialized. Special ice, natural mineral water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello and welcome back. This is an abbreviated, masked version of Diaspora Weekly. There's a reason why we're in mask. I think that's the first time. Gifty, this is the first time, right? First time on DNT wearing mask, and there's a reason why. My guest has been through an experience, and she's here to talk about it. But she's not just anybody. We're talking about Dr. Tilly Bracco, pediatrician who has been practicing over 30-something years. This says 30-something years. I'd like to welcome you to
Thank
the
you, sir.
Diaspora Weekly Facebook. How are you today?
Excellent.
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 You can say excellent now. But a couple of weeks ago,
Oh, goodness. No words to describe it.
wow. Wow.
It was horrid.
Wow.
Horrid. So,
You
if
have
I say excellent, I mean excellent.
excellent.
Yeah.
But now, like, you're 100% negative, ready to roll.
Negative, okay. The only thing is the weakness.
Okay.
Right? Like, I'm doing everything around the house, cooking,
Okay.
but I get tired easily.
More easily.
But that will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will come later.
So that's just like a little bit of after effects.
A little
of-
bit. If you ask me, I'm about maybe about 85% there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
better.
Very good. So before we get into your experience, and in fact, I think experience doesn't accurately describe it. It's more like an ordeal.
Ordeal.
Right. Tell us about your background. First, let's start with where you're from. What part of where
Ghana.
You're from?
Okay. I'm a 100% Ghanaian, right?
Okay.
My mom is from Winneba, and my dad is from Cape Coast.
Okay.
I lived in Ghana. I went to University of Ghana Medical School. Finished 1985.
Okay.
I worked at Efian Kwanta. Then I migrated to Britain. Then from Britain, I ended up in the US.
Okay.
I've been in the US for a while. I have my own practice now. I'm a pediatrician. I take care of kids from birth to 18.
Okay.
So that's about
Okay. So what took you to America?
what took me to America.
Or shall I say, what took you out of Ghana? Because it
Out
looks
of
like
Ghana, right.
you stepped in.
that
how long
one-
were you in the UK?
That one is a little complex, so I don't want to go there. By the
Okay.
way, things going around, it's nothing political
Okay.
or anything, so I decided. And then at that time, you're always looking like, I want good ventures, yeah? It's the system out there is better, this and that and that and that. So that's, and plus other stuff that I don't want to go to. So I went to Britain. And the system there, one of my colleagues in US said, you know what's a lot better here? Here the sky is the limit.
Okay.
So then I just packed up and went to the US.
Okay.
So,
So you've been in the US since
for a while, since 93,
93 thereabouts. Okay.
about 93.
And so by the time you showed up in the United States, you were a full practicing
Yeah,
pediatrician.
but I specialized, no, before Ghana, when you're done, they ship you to Efian Kwanta, you're doing everything,
Okay.
right? You're doing C-sections, you're an obstetrician, you're a surgeon, you're a pediatrician, you're everything,
Okay.
right? So when I went to US, I decided to specialize in pediatrics.
Okay.
So I did pediatrics in New York and then moved out of New York to Ohio, joined the group practice, and then later branched and started my own practice.
Very good.
So I've had my practice for about maybe about 13
About 13 years.
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when COVID came, you were a full practicing pediatrician.
Yep. When
Okay.
they did the lockdown,
Okay.
right? I said I'm over 60. That's high risk. And then when you
You
go
over what?
60,
6, that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who do you think you're trying to kid? No, seriously.
I'll be 64 this year. Okay. So I got to what is it? What was he talking about and got me distracted?
No. 60?
So I'm at high risk.
Okay.
You know, you're over 60.
Okay.
You're working with kids who come there. Even when they are positive, they don't have this symptoms like adults
Right.
do. So I was a little scared. And then they had the lockdown. When you go, about 5 patients will come to the office. So is it worth it?
Yeah.
So I decided to just stay home and do virtual
consultation.
Zoom
Okay.
work. And then my nurse practitioner, she's not scared of it, so she'll go on the days that we have to do immunization because it's still a full clinic. But when the lockdown went down, then I said, you know what? Because my patients are like, we haven't seen you for ages and this and that. So I went back to work, just fully clothed, taking precautions and everything. So I diagnosed tons of COVID cases.
Okay.
I didn't run away from them. I treated them till everything until I got here in November.
All right. So you came back on a trip. Basically, was it for the holidays or?
Yeah, normally we come at the end of the year.
Okay.
Right, me and my husband. But this time he came earlier to do some business. Yeah, and then he got sick with his eye. He had a bleeding problem in one of the eyes.
Okay.
And it was time for a surgery or something to redeem his sight.
Okay.
And you know what I said? I don't trust the Ghana system, the health system. So I want to be there.
Okay.
Before they touch your eye.
Okay.
So I changed my ticket, came, and then they did the eye thing. Even then I was upset, but it came out
Very
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So. Do you your last name is Bracon? Is that your personal maiden name or married
No,
name?
it's because I'm married to this dinosaur.
Oh, you okay? Don't ask for fight for me.
You said dinosaur. Because Bracon is my husband. My maiden name is Duncan.
Duncan. Okay.
D-U-N-C-A-N.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let the record show that the name dinosaur officially did not come from me. It originally came from whatever happened behind cameras.
No
that's a different thing.
argument. No comment.
So
plead the
Bracon,
fifth,
the
right.
famous legendary musician, is your husband.
The one who did Baya
Baya.
and dances on stage like what?
Are we gonna? Okay.
The sexiest dancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my
husband.
husband.
I think I know him.
Yes.
But it's good to know that his own operation and everything came out well.
Yeah,
right?
he's my.
And how long have you guys been in Ghana?
Let's see. I came 3rd week of November.
Oh, okay.
3rd week of November.
And so far, how long were you gone before you came back to Ghana?
A year.
Oh, so you guys, it's a yearly thing?
Like a yearly thing.
Okay.
We come around Christmas time and go early February.
Okay. And usually when you come there, are there any surprises?
Not really.
Okay.
It's like back to home. Back home, normal life.
Okay. But this time around, there was something called COVID-19.
Okay.
Looking back, how do you believe you contracted the virus?
Okay. You know, before you travel from the States, you have to do Delta, you have to get a negative COVID, but within 72 hours before. So we did that. We're both negative. You get to the airport here, they do another one. They keep you till it's negative before they let you out. So both of them were negative. Okay, that was November. And then I get here, me and my mask, I don't leave it anywhere. When the COVID started, I stopped everybody coming to my house in the US.
Okay.
So you get here, nobody's wearing a mask. The atmosphere is like there's no COVID here, or like if you read the statistics from Facebook and all that. So it's not like prevalent. That's the impression that I got. Okay, but I was still protecting myself. I go to functions and wearing a mask, I'll be the odd one out.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm like, okay. So after a while, I take my mask off. So I think I let my guard down.
Okay.
So if you ask me where I think I got it from, I won't be able to tell you, but it was outside.
It was outside. Okay. So what do you say about, as a pediatrician back in the States, and you know where the regimen is, lockdown when they say people wear masks. In fact, Ohio is a red state, and I think in the political environment in the United States, like the Republicans or the Trumpists don't believe, so they don't wear masks. That aside, when you look at the way people follow protocol back in the States and then here, what are your concerns?
You mean here?
In terms of how the public react
Ghana,
to COVID protocols, yes.
Yeah, in Ghana.
Ghana versus United States.
Ghana, I think people don't believe the disease is here.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because around the Christmas time, you see all the parties, and like I said, you would think there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But if I was back home, Christmas, everything would have been home.
Okay.
I wouldn't have gone out anywhere.
Do you think our initial numbers, because when it came down, where almost everywhere the numbers were exploding, Ghana's numbers were pretty contained. And then people say we weren't testing. But Ghana, I think when it comes to Africa, we're probably the third or fourth best country in terms of the number of tests and the percentage of the population that's tested.
You think so?
That's what
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Because
okay.
if they're testing, right, even if they were testing, telling you these people are coming positive, most of it is in the big cities.
Okay.
You're going to get that in Accra, Kumasi, all that. You go to
The
Mampong,
villages? Yeah.
not the big Mampong, Mampong about 50, that's where my husband comes from. Go to that area. Who
Equapin Mampong here.
No, it's not Equapin. When you're going to Winneba, it's about 5 minutes to Winneba. Potson and all that areas. You tell me who goes there to check anybody for COVID. So if you're basing your numbers on Accra and the metropolitan areas, it may be true that, okay, this is what. But what about those places?
Yeah.
So I think it's more than that.
Yeah, I was taking mine from the Worldometer, where you look at the number of tests and then you divide it into the population. So it's almost like the number tested per a million population. That one, I felt like Ghana is doing much more. But I will have to agree with you that I'll have to agree with you that it's not. There's nothing going on in the. In fact, my father.
The rural areas.
The rural areas. My father, I spoke to my father about a week ago, and he was sitting with a woman who came from the Seshi area. He said when the woman came, she's like, why is everybody wearing
a
mask? I mean, this is a whole year after the pandemic, and apparently nobody wears masks over there. So
it's not. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
That's what they say.
All
You
right.
know, the village, my husband's village. When we were in the U.S., we were speaking to the chief, and he said he nearly died. When he described the symptoms, I told him Nana got the COVID. And you know, he said, oh, what about Bechekum? No, what maybe.
Oh.
But
wow.
he was doing horrible, and he said everybody who came to visit was dying. Within a week, they buried about 10 people.
So could it be that the education has been lacking within the rural areas? Because it's entirely possible that people are actually dying, but they don't know it's related to COVID.
They don't even attribute it to COVID.
To COVID, yes.
What's Iwuna Adosun?
Yeah. Oh, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
But okay, this is revealing, because if in the rural areas, one, they don't know about it, and they are dying at a higher rate than usual, those deaths are not going to be recorded in Ghana statistics.
Who is going to do it?
Okay.
Because when the Nana said, Iwuna, the major, he said he was so sick, he couldn't sleep in his room, he couldn't do this, he couldn't breathe. He described the symptoms of COVID. He said he's 70 years old, he's never seen anything like this.
But he survived.
He survived. But he said people who came, there were people praying, they would come there 24 hours praying. The next day, one person is gone.
Okay, so somebody is sick. He doesn't know that he has COVID.
COVID.
All he knows. And then more people come around to pray, and they are not wearing masks.
No, they don't know what it is. He said at one point, he thought somebody had put a spell on him. What will you do? No, he hasn't done anybody anything. So he doesn't see why anybody will what will you do, right?
Wow.
Because it's like a disease that you never seen before.
Yeah.
And people were praying and coming, he's the chief.
Yeah.
And all those people were exposed.
And this is Mampong in the central region.
It's Gomwa Asin Mampong.
Gomwa Asin Mampong.
Gomwa Asin Mampong.
This is interesting.
So that's one village. See how many of those villages exist in Ghana.
So the education has not gone to the rural areas. All right. This is Diaspora Weekly. I think there's something revealing is coming. We've always known that people don't take it seriously in the cities. In the rural areas, it looks like they don't even know about it. All they know is there's this strange disease and people are dying at a higher rate than usual. I don't think they know how it's communed among people, because if they knew, then someone who has that disease, who is a chief, would not allow people to come around in close confines, praying for him without wearing masks. And you know, in Ghana, when we're praying, we shout, hallelujah, then these things are coming out and it's spreading.
So it was spreading like fire around him.
And then the people who came to pray for him, all you hear is, oh, this person is gone. This person is gone.
He survived it.
Wow. This is revealing. If you're a member of the COVID team, I think this is one area that we need to look at. And so we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Bracco about her personal experience and what she endured during her ordeal. Stay tuned. This is Diaspora Weekly. We'll be right back.
The national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority, seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting inquiry. National Communications Authority, communications for development.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah and I'm joined by Dr. Tilly Efe Bracco, a COVID survivor. Before we get in the next segment, I want to take a sip. I have to remove my mask and take a sip. Do you know why? I want to show you this. Specialized. Great stuff. Awesome stuff. Don't take my word for it. Get you a bottle, and then you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Diaspora Weekly. Let's get back into COVID survivor. Sadly,
Yes, sir.
there are a lot of people who cannot say what you just said. So, take us from the beginning. What happened? When did you know that you might be in trouble?
That's what I had. Okay. Normally, when I'm coming back from the U.S., because I don't live here, I bring anti-malaria, prophylaxis, and all the different stuff. So around December, the dates I might be wrong, but after Christmas, I had this terrible headache. So to me, as a physician, I'm like, okay, it's malaria. So I went and bought Coartem, that's malaria medication, took it for 3 days. It felt like I was feeling better. Then the 4th day, this headache thing won't go away. I'm like, normally if I do the coatem, it goes away. So the next thing is treat myself for typhoid. And I brought some medication for that also. So I started day 1 of typhoid. And I'm like, no, I'm not feeling right. So let's go. Can I mention hospitals? Okay, so I went to Inyaho. And then they did the malaria, did typhoid, did other basic stuff. And they said both malaria and typhoid were negative.
Okay.
And they think there's a little bit of something with my urine. So I told the physician, I'm like, you know what, I'm a physician. You don't get UTI and feel the way I'm feeling. Everything hurts. I have this severe headache. And he said, oh, it's possible. I said, I don't think so. So he said, what do you think? I said, I want to be tested for COVID. So he said, okay, then go get tested for COVID. So we went to the COVID unit. There's a tent outside. But it was like 5 something. So the unit was closed. And then I told my husband, let's go home because you can do COVID everywhere. So we got home. The next day, I started, like, it was getting worse. So I said, okay, let's go to the hospital. We went to Legon Hospital. So I spoke to this young physician, and he said, I agree with you. I think it's a COVID. So let's do the test. So he did all the basic stuff that he did the malaria again, because sometimes it can be false negative. So he did that and everything, and then said, go do the COVID. I did the COVID. That was also an experience. So we did the COVID test. Both of us, right? We did it the same time. And then, since I was getting sick, they decided to admit me. Okay, and then wait for the COVID test. I didn't know the routine, so I'm always waiting for the COVID test. It took them about 10 days, 9 to 10 days to get the COVID test. Results.
So by this time, when you take the day that you started feeling the headache, how many days are you into this now?
This is like going towards 2 weeks.
Okay.
I was in the hospital then.
Okay.
Okay, but I knew it was COVID.
Okay.
The test was not there yet.
Okay.
So they were treating me and this and that, and then the COVID came back positive.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, mosquitoes are killing me here. And I don't think, even though you call them, the staff, and because one of my Ben's friend's daughter is a physician there.
Okay.
So they said, oh, Amma's aunt is here. So, but you can see they are not equipped for COVID.
Right.
So when I was a little stable, I said, you know what, maybe I can go home and do this and that. So I ordered oxygen and different stuff. I went home.
Okay.
But the next day I realized, no, I can't do this at home.
At home, okay.
So I started, since I went to medical school, my colleagues are here. So I started trying to sending them messages, which is the best place to go for COVID in Ghana and this and that. So one came up and said, Ghana East.
Okay.
Yeah, but at about 3 a.m., I was just in so much pain, can't breathe. And he gave us the number to the a physician at Ghana East.
Okay.
So Ben called and he said he won't be there till about 9 a.m.
Okay.
This is 3, so I don't know what I'm going to do between 3 and 9. So I said, let me go to Legon Hospital back.
Okay.
Let them at least stabilize me.
Okay.
So I went there. We got there about 4 a.m. I sat in a chair. There's no bed. The whole place is filled up. Nothing. So I was just praying for 9 to come so I can go to. So I sat in a chair. When I can't breathe. My head is pounding. My whole body, I'm sick. My neck is on the back.
Wow.
I sat not in a comfortable chair. At one point, somebody's IV almost hit my head. So I would have even got concussion or something from that. So I decided 9 o'clock, I'm out of here.
Okay.
So I wailed and endured this pain until 9. So 9 o'clock, I'm like, call that doctor at Ghana East and see if we can go. And he was able to reach him, so we said we're going. We got in the car and they said, that's not the protocol. I have to go by ambulance.
Okay.
Because something can happen to me on the way.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I was so tired and exhausted. So I said, you know what? I'll sign against medical advice and go. Something happens to me on the way. It's my fault.
Right.
We got to the gate. They had a military man or somebody dressed.
The gate of where?
Dressed in military garb.
No, I'm talking about the gate of which facility?
Legon Hospital.
Okay.
They blocked us from going out.
And what time was this?
9 a.m.
Why would they block? What was their reason?
Because I have to go by an ambulance.
Oh, okay.
So we went back and I said, okay, you know what? I can sign against medical advice and go wherever I want to go to.
Okay.
So get me the paper. They said I have to get out of the car before they go get me the paper.
Wow. Okay.
So I was being stubborn, and I know my husband would say, just get down or something. So I said, okay, let me get down. So I got down. They took me back to the emergency room. After I'd been there for how many hours without a bed, you know, sitting down in
so
pain.
You just wanted to get out of there?
I just wanted to get out of there.
So eventually were you able to sign the...
They didn't bring it. They put me back in Legon Hospital.
Wait, so you wanted to go to Ghana East, and the military man would not allow you to get out?
He was instructed by the emergency room,
Okay, and you were willing to sign
against medical advice and go.
All right, and that too was not available?
They didn't let me sign it.
So how did you end up leaving there?
They just put me back in the ward. So I told my husband, arrange for an ambulance to get me out of here. So finally, he got the ambulance and everything, and they took me to Ghana East.
Okay.
I got to Ghana East, and I'm like, when I went inside, I texted him, I said, I think there's hope here. Because this looks like they have oxygen things on the wall. It looks like a regular clinic that you see somewhere. Okay, so I'm like, the services here might be better. Okay.
So when you, let me take a moment. When you looked at the facility in Ghana East, I think you said something to the effect that this one, from equipment standpoint, the way it's equipped, is to international standard.
It looks like, from inside, because me, I was in the ambulance, they took me there, but when I got inside the ward, so the outside, where the nursing station, I don't know. It's the ward. When I went, at least there's a bell that you can pull when you are in trouble, right, and get a nurse. There's oxygen on the walls, there's this and that. So I said, okay, if it's like this, then the service will look like this, right? I was wrong. Wrong.
You see, in my jangle, I did say that maybe the effort from, I mean, how the government is tackling this, building this hospital, and the people. When I spoke with you, when you said when you got there you saw hope, you're in the medical field back in the States. If you, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of equipment and looks and everything, where would you place, say, the facilities that you know back in Ohio? On a scale of 1 to 10 versus what you saw in Ghana East, or the same scale, 1 to 10?
1 to 10? I'll say maybe about 5.
5, okay, for Ghana East.
For Ghana East.
And then the facilities that you're familiar with in the States would be what?
Would be about the ones that I've been to where I work at. And I might be biased, but I'll say 10.
10, okay.
Because I've been sick in the U.S. before.
Okay. So U.S. would be 10, Ghana East to be 5. Where would you place the Legon Hospital?
Legon?
I'm trying to scale it so that people have an idea when they are sick for COVID, where they need to go and things like that.
The facility itself and what Legon, I'll say maybe 1.
Okay. Okay, so we got 1, 5, and 10. Okay. All right.
But this one is like upscale a little, you know.
All right. So when you got there, then you said you were wrong. Why were you wrong?
I was wrong because of the treatment I got there.
Okay. So tell us about that. What happened?
because all this from Yahoo, this and that, now I'm getting worse.
Okay.
So that's why I contacted one of my, I even gave the number to my husband to call.
Okay.
And he said, oh, he's not in, you know, Ghana, 60, after 60 you're retired. He's not in active service, but he said, okay, he called around and there's Ghanese and it was built specifically for COVID. So that's hope, right?
Okay.
So I got there, went in there, had all the pain was my main thing, right? The breathing and everything. So when you go in there, they come in, do whatever they have to do and that. But then I realized after midnight, you can't get hold of a nurse. You can't get hold of a doctor.
Even when they pull the bell.
You pull the bell. You know what? When you pull the bell in America, okay, somebody is there in a few seconds. Okay, let's say we are in Ghana. We are
So you give it a
understaffed
few
or
minutes.
whatever. So maybe 30 minutes. Nobody comes
At all.
at all. So I don't know where that signal goes.
Okay, so when you say when you pull, that means you pulled it.
When you pull, I pulled it.
Okay. What and what happened
When
when
you
pulled?
pull, it will start making a noise, and then there's a light. So from what I know as a medical, the light, the same light, will show on the nurse's
Okay.
screen
Okay.
which bed
Okay.
is asking for help,
Okay.
the patient who is asking for help.
So about what time did you pull your
I pulled this thing one time. I pulled it maybe around like 12 midnight.
12 midnight? And when did somebody show up?
Nobody showed up.
The entire night?
Nobody showed up. I think about maybe 2 hours later. I don't know how, because I thought 2 hours, it's not working.
Okay.
Somebody came in.
Do you get the feeling he was responding to your bell or he just happened to be coming in?
I don't know, because he came to me.
Okay, all right.
He came. I don't know where he was before he got to my bed. But he came, and they are all in hazmat suits. So
Okay.
all you see is their eyes, right?
Okay.
So whether it's a doctor, nurse, what is, you don't know.
So when they came
I don't
in,
think it was a doctor, but
Right.
he came in and he said, and he came and stood on me with both hands on his, like this. What?
okay, okay.
So I said, like, now I'm talking in normal terms. So I said, I can't breathe. I need to go use the restroom. Okay, so he said, so what do you want me to do? I said, I'm hooked to an IV thing, right? I think they were giving me a pain medicine then. So if you can take this off so I can go pee. So he took it off. And as a nurse, I think it's a nurse. It's not a cleaner. You see if the patient can walk. If not, you bring the patient
A wheelchair or something.
a bedpan
Bedpan, okay.
or something, right? And in that unit, you shouldn't expect the way I'm laying there and what you should. Let's say he had a wrong, that I didn't look that sick. Let's say that. He just took that thing off and said, go. And he left.
Wow.
So if I had, and then I got up, took one step, and I said, no, I can't. I can't, because
But
I
by
realized
that time, he wasn't there for you to
He
tell
was
me
gone.
Okay.
that's a facility.
Did he wear a name tag, do you know?
At that
You weren't
time,
looking
when
for
you
that.
are like that ill, you don't even look
Yeah,
at.
okay.
But I wish I had the strength to take a picture. But whoever he is, if he's listening to this, he should know himself
Okay.
and be ashamed of himself. He shouldn't be in that profession.
Wow.
So I sat, I couldn't go. So I just stood up and started wailing. I said, I can't do this. So this lady who was opposite me came, a patient, not a nurse.
Okay.
She came and she said, my dear, what did you say? I said, I can't. I couldn't even finish the sentence. I can't. She said, you can't do what? I said, I can't breathe. I want to pee. And she said, sit on your bed and pee on yourself. Pee on yourself. I said, how can I pee on my? She said, sit. And then she said, this is me 2-3 days ago. I thought I was going to die, but look at me now. Okay? So don't say you can't breathe. You can breathe. Sit down. So I sat down. She went and brought me her bedpan. But by the time she got there, the pee had vanished. it had disappeared.
Because of the experience.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this experience, people normally say, look, when you live abroad, when you come back home, don't expect the standard to be the same.
They
but it looks like this one was beyond the pale.
A nurse shouldn't. You swear an oath. Like you go in there, a patient is sick, you don't go stand there and say, what?
Okay.
How can I help you?
All right.
And you know, I want to pee.
Okay.
Let me bring you a bedpan. He wouldn't have even taken the IV thing off.
Okay.
He's a real nurse.
We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, it's not all bad news. It gets better. Stay tuned. You've heard the worst of it. Now the story gets much, much better. So stay tuned for this edition of Diaspora Weekly.
It's a new season. 3 latest intriguing conversations from 3 different perspectives.
How many months does it take to pass?
The bad and the ugly. Only on DNT.
We wake up every morning to different stories from politics, business, sports, and entertainment. These stories, one way or the other, affect our lifestyle and dealings with family, friends, and business associates. Your take on Diaspora Network Television gives you an opportunity to have your take on these pertinent issues via phone in and messages to our social media platforms, DNT Ghana, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If it's an important trending story, we will definitely talk about it. Your take with me, Yasichi, on DNT.
Hello and welcome back. This is the masked COVID edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and I'm joined by Dr. Tilly Efe Bracon, pediatrician from a practicing pediatrician in Lima, Ohio, back in the States. Came on holidays to Ghana to spend the holidays with her husband, legendary musician Ben Bracon, and contracted the coronavirus. And her ordeal from the moment she realized that she was not feeling well up until this point, if been watching, has been nothing short of just shocking. So the situation was so bad at Ghana East that you requested to be moved out of there.
Yes.
What happened? Tell us about it.
Apart from the pee thing and all that, I realized I rang the bell. I pulled the bell again. For how many hours? Nobody's coming, and I'm yelling, "Help! Help!" So because I thought maybe there's a nurse's station somewhere, right? Help! Help! I'm in pain. I'm dying. No, and that was the worst.
What happens overnight at Ghana East?
There's nobody there.
And the place is locked, you said?
The place, it's not
closed.
like it's closed.
It's closed. Okay.
I don't know if it, I don't think it's locked.
Okay.
It's just closed.
Closed.
Yeah.
So in a whole ward of about how many people, how many patients?
I don't know. It's
quite a number.
The screen, yeah, but quite a number. Okay, let's say about 8 or 10.
Is it possible there are nurses at places where you can't see it because you're screened?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
If there's a nurse in there, okay, at least if I yell, "Nurse, help," somebody will come in there.
And you say overnight you hear people wailing?
Wailing. Because you can't breathe. And everybody's going, "Oh, oh, oh, you know? There's no nurse, nobody. I'm one of them wailing too. I don't want to be treated like a doctor or any special person. I wanted to be treated like a human being, a patient.
Do you think we're losing patients to COVID or through?
Lack of care, if you ask me.
So you think a good number of COVID patients could be saved if the care was better?
If the care was better.
At Ga East?
Because I was on my husband every second.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
So eventually he succeeded in getting you moved out of...
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I called, like me calling and sending, what is it? So this time I thought I was going to die the next day. I don't think I was going to survive the next day. So I called a friend, my nurse practitioner in the US, giving her directions, right? If something happens, this is what we have to do. And then I called my husband. He's like, what? I said, they're not attending. I'm in so much pain. I can't breathe, this and that. So he's like, okay, I'm coming. He called them several times and they said, oh, we have attended to her. And then he called me. So they said, well, they were just there. I said, why would I lie? There's nobody here. So he decided he was coming. So he got there. And then when I called the nurse practitioner in US, he said he went on WhatsApp and said, I need help because my boss is dying in Ghana. And somebody on her WhatsApp board said, I work at 37. Can you tell her husband to bring her there? So she called him and they started coordinating. So he called 37, they were willing to accept me. He called Ghana East and they were ready to let me go. So the other problem was for him to arrange an ambulance.
Okay.
So he finally did, and then they got me out of there.
Okay.
I got to 37, wheeled me in. I was so sick. So I just wanted the pain. So when I went, this young doctor came in. His name is Dr. Opoku. He's gowned and everything, but he told me his name, so I remember his name. He's like, okay, so what's your main? I told him about what I've been through. That's why I'm at 37. So what was my main problem there? I said, the pain. It's just beyond a certain word. So he said, okay, I'll help you. So I'll make sure you get out alive. So he went and then came back. Maybe at that time, when you're suffering, 5 minutes feels like 3 hours. But
Do you think you got the special treatment because he knew you were the wife of Bembra?
No.
Okay.
He didn't know my husband.
Okay. To you, he was just a patient,
a physician.
Patient. Okay.
So he came and he asked me what's my main, I said the pain. So he came back in about 30 minutes and checked the IV and see if it's working. He started the IV. I couldn't even, normally I would ask, what are you giving me, right? So he gave me that, and then 15 minutes, he was standing there pushing it slowly. 15 minutes, he said, how is the pain? So I said, the pain is about 4. Where was it before? I said, more than 10 is the highest, right? More than 10, I can't put it, I can't say 20, but it was more than 10. So he kept pushing, and then 30 minutes later, he said, how's the pain? I said, I don't have any pain.
Look at that.
I couldn't feel any pain. I was on oxygen, this and that. The breath, oxygen, you're still on oxygen, but it's still difficult to breathe. Okay, and then I still felt sick, but the pain was completely gone. That's when I didn't even ask him, you know what happened? I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been sleeping for...
So this Dr. Opoku was obviously a very, very good doctor.
He is.
What about the supporting staff?
Everybody else that came around looks like they had been trained. Everybody else.
Wow.
Okay, they come, and then I want to know what they're giving me. If I'm going to survive, I ask them, what is this? They know what they're giving you. Okay, they don't tell you. Normally they should tell you, but I ask them, they tell me.
Yeah. You know, the story, this is a tale of two hospitals. One is so bad. But ironically, that's the one that's built
That's
specifically
supposed to be
for
good.
COVID. And then one is good. If I didn't know you, and any other place, they'll say, ah, man.
She has special treatment or something.
Or 37 has paid her money to to give a public PR. I mean, let's face it, why is it the same
I don't know
medical care in Ghana?
That Dr. Oklu, Dr. Poku, I'm trying to get hold of him so I can give him my number so when I go back I can talk to him and thank him.
Okay.
He doesn't even call, so it's not like he wants anything from me.
Exactly.
You know, I just want, I've told him thank you though.
Yeah.
And I told him he's going to be a good physician the way he treated me, you know. But it's not like he knows me or anything.
You say even the cleaner got in the act at 37?
A cleaner did. Because when I got there, from Ghana East, my urine was so concentrated. You know, I was even scared my kidneys. Well, I'm a doctor. I know what happens. So, when I got to and the pains went down, I started drinking like crazy. So I was peeing every second. But every second I have this thing hooked on me. How do I get up at the and the bathroom was at 37 was inside the ward.
Back in Ghana East, it was where?
Outside.
Okay.
And it's a distance to go there.
Okay.
So this cleaner was cleaning. I said, can you get me a bedpan? I know he will know what it is. So he went and he said, oh, I couldn't find the ladies one. So, and I said, get me the men's one. I'll use it. So he found me. It happened to be the best.
Yeah.
So he found the men's one for me, and it's clear plastic.
Okay.
And it's calibrated, so at least you can see the urine, and then you can know how much you're making out.
Yeah. So this sounds to me like a culture difference at the two facilities.
Two different hospitals.
Do you think that it's, I don't even know how to, this Dr. Opoku.
Maybe good leadership at 37.
Okay.
Maybe good leadership.
Because they've been at it for a while.
It's not experience or what, but these people, because if you're building a new facility and it's for COVID, COVID is new.
Okay.
Nobody knows COVID 3 years ago. Okay. COVID is new, so everybody doing something towards COVID is new. We discover things every day.
Okay.
So if the basic treatment for patient care is there, it doesn't matter whether it's COVID or malaria.
Okay. So now you've been on both sides of the healthcare. You've been a patient. You've been a doctor. What advice do you have for whoever is listening who has something to do with this COVID-19 handling?
First, not even the COVID-19 thing, right? I think all the nurses and doctors should have in-service training.
Okay.
From time to time. Tell them how to deal with human beings. Everybody going in the hospital is sick. Okay? They say labor is painful. Everybody knows labor is painful. So if you have medication to help somebody who is in labor, because labor is painful, you wouldn't help the person. They have to go through it. If you have the medication, you help the person. But Ghana East, they're acting aloof. And I don't know what caliber of physicians they put in there. Because at one day, we've been to 37. 37, I can't say enough. I think they did the best. Okay. Okay, that doctor did. Opoku did the best. He acted.
I mean, when
he acted like a doctor.
The supporting staff, it looks like any other doctor would have. It's pretty fair to assume that any other doctor would have performed the same way.
Yeah, Opoku but did. He's the only one who attended to me. Yeah.
What about the doctor that saw you at Ghana East?
I don't even know because there are different doctors.
Okay.
And then this one doctor that I remember, if she's watching, I hope she's watching, she should know herself too. After I wailed for, that's when he came and took me that day. And this lady who came and sat me down and said, you can breathe, my sister, You can breathe. I can see she's a lot younger than me. You can breathe. So when she was leaving, she said, you can breathe, remember that. You know, that night that I had been up calling my husband that if he doesn't come, they don't get me out of there, I'm going to die and this and that. Finally, around in the morning, when the whole night I've been doing that, she came in. I didn't know she was a doctor. You know where she went first? She went to that lady who was being discharged, because I think she's been there for a while, so they know. She went and she was chatting.
Chatting with her?
When you go into a ward and somebody's screaming and yelling, who do you go to first?
But she was chatting with the one that's about to be released and left you wailing.
And then the one, I see the lady that she was talking to, the one who was almost out of the hospital, was saying something to her, right? But the doctor was talking undertones.
Okay.
So finally, she came to me. The irony, she came and put her hand behind my back, and it's like, you know, the COVID, this is how COVID is so the pain. Because if we give you more medicine, then the side effects is going to be worse than the medicine is, the disease itself. I said 24 hours. You gave me IV paracetamol, Panadol, IV, 1. It's not 2, it's not 3. And I see. And
you're the physician, so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't get 1 dose of Panadol, and the second one is an overdose. Okay. How?
Okay.
And she goes, oh, my dear. I said, so what, when you tell me I'm going to get side effect from the medication, from just 1 dose of IV Panadol, what do you want me to sit here and do when I'm dying? Oh, you can't say you're dying. You know, you're not going to die. I said, well, I'm dying right in front of you. Nobody's taking care of me. So they went and then brought me some pain medicine, Toradol, whatever, before I left for 37.
Okay. Well, Dr. Brackman, I want to thank you for gathering the courage to come to Diaspora Weekly to talk to your ordeal about that. Many times, when we see things that don't work, we mind our own business, okay? And then the problem persists. Those of us who have been fortunate enough to travel abroad to see how it's done, when we come back and we want to raise eyebrows about these things, we get accused that, oh, you think you're too known, this is not America, this is Ghana. But you know what? It seemed like we've gotten comfortable saying that, oh, this is Ghana, so mediocrity is good. Well, some of us believe that, no, mediocrity is not good enough for Ghana. Ghana is better than that. And so when you see this interview, some people's first reaction will be, oh, you think this is America, so what? But you know what? Maybe the courage that you have gotten to come sit here and talk about your ordeal will force people at Ghana East to improve their game, so that it saves other people. If you don't talk and you go, I'm minding my own business, I don't want to get in trouble, then the problem persists. Can you see, if you're watching this show, can you see how that if nothing is done about it, it could result in additional deaths, whereas talking about it and making some people uncomfortable has the potential of saving lives in the future. So Ghanaians, let's change our thinking. I think the people who raise concerns are not the enemy. Those are the ones that are trying to improve situations and make things better for our country. And for that, I want to really thank you for gathering the courage to come here to talk about us. I know you're leaving tonight. You have a safe trip back to the States. And for you, the viewer, thank you for staying with us. This has been a masked edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and you have been watching Diaspora Network Television. Stay tuned for additional programming.